Kansas City Chiefs 2025 NFL Draft. Sleeper picks and hidden gems. The Kansas City Chiefs, coming off a 2024 season that saw them fall short in Super Bowl 59 to the Philadelphia Eagles, entered the 2025 NFL Draft with clear needs to address. While their first-round selection of Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons garnered headlines, the Chiefs' draft strategy under general manager Brett Veach has historically shown in the later rounds, unearthing talents like Isaiah Pacheco, Trey Smith, and Jalen Watson. This article dives into the Chiefs' 2025 draft class, focusing on their sleeper picks and hidden gems, players selected in rounds 2 through 7 who could outperform their draft position and make a significant impact in Kansas City. What makes a sleeper or hidden gem? A sleeper or hidden gem in the NFL Draft is a player who is undervalued or overlooked, often due to factors like playing at a smaller school, recovering from an injury, or lacking prototypical measurables. These players possess traits, athleticism, production, or intangibles that suggest they can exceed expectations and become contributors or even stars at the next level. For the Chiefs, who have a knack for finding value late, these selections are critical to maintaining their championship contending roster. Chiefs 2025 Draft Context. The Chiefs entered the 2025 NFL Draft with 8 picks, including 2 in the 3rd round but none in the 5th or 6th rounds. Their needs were evident after the Super Bowl loss exposed weaknesses at offensive tackle, defensive line, and in the passing game. Veach's draft class focused heavily on the trenches while adding depth at skill positions and in the secondary. Below, we highlight the sleeper picks and hidden gems from their 2025 haul, drawing on their college production, athletic profiles, and fit within Kansas City's system. Sleeper picks and hidden gems. Round 2, Pick 63, Omar Normanlott, DL, Tennessee. Why he's a sleeper. Omar Normanlott, a defensive lineman from Tennessee, is a polarizing pick due to mixed scouting reports, with some analysts suggesting the Chiefs reached for him in the 2nd round. However, his selection reflects the trust of defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo and defensive line coach Joe Cullen, who likely saw pro-ready traits in his game. Normanlott's ability to disrupt as a rotational pass rusher makes him a potential gem in a Chiefs defensive line needing youth alongside Chris Jones. Profile and fit. At 6 feet 3 inches and 305 pounds, Normanlott has the size and power to play as a 3-technique defensive tackle in Spagnuolo's 4-3 scheme. In 2024, he recorded 18 tackles and 4 sacks in 13 games as a reserve, showing flashes of explosiveness despite limited snaps. His athleticism was evident at the NFL Combine, where he posted a 4.98-second 40-yard dash and a 33-inch vertical leap, both strong for his size. The Chiefs lost Tershawn Wharton and Derek Nady to free agency, creating a need for interior disruption. Normanlott's quick first step and ability to penetrate gaps could make him a situational pass rusher as a rookie, with the potential to develop into a starter. Upside. If Normanlott refines his technique and improves his play recognition, he could become a consistent disruptor, akin to former Chiefs lineman Christian Barmore, a past sleeper who became a star. His selection earned a B+ grade from some analysts, reflecting optimism about his fit in Kansas City's aggressive defensive scheme. Bold prediction. Normanlott will record at least 5 sacks in 2025 as a rotational player, earning a larger role by season's end. Round 3, Pick 66, Ashton Gillitte, DE, Louisville. Why he's a sleeper. Ashton Gillitte, selected in the 3rd round, brings a relentless motor and proven production to a Chiefs edge rushing group that underperformed in 2024. With only George Karlaftis, 8 sacks, providing consistent pressure among defensive ends, Gillotte's addition addresses a critical need. His lack of elite length may have pushed him to day 2, but his tape suggests he's a hidden gem who can contribute immediately. Profile and fit. At 6 feet 3 inches and 265 pounds, Gillitte is slightly undersized but makes up for it with strength and hustle. Over 55 career games at Louisville, he amassed 41.5 tackles for loss and 26.5 sacks, showcasing his ability to live in opponents' backfields. His 2024 season included 12 sacks, earning him first-team All-ACC honors. At the Combine, he ran a 4.78-second 40-yard dash and posted a 35-inch vertical, indicating above-average athleticism. In Kansas City, Gillitte projects as a rotational edge who can spell Karlaftis and Charles Omenihu, with the potential to supplant Mike Dana, who had just 3.5 sacks in 2024. Upside. Gillotte's motor and strength draw comparisons to Trey Hendrickson, a late-round gem who became a Pro Bowler. His ability to generate 15 pressures as a rookie, as predicted by some analysts, could make him a fan favorite in Kansas City. His B grade reflects his high floor as a contributor. Bold prediction: Gillette will lead Chiefs rookies with 6.5 sacks in 2025, earning a starting role by 2026. Round 3, pick 85. No, the burden on Patrick Mahomes, who accounted for 72.5% of the Chiefs' offensive yards in 2024. Bass's versatility ensures Spagnuolo's defense remains adaptable. Veach's history of hitting on late-round picks: Pacheco, Round 7, 2022, Smith, Round 6, 2021, and Watson, Round 7, 2022, bodes well for this group. The Chiefs' draft earned high marks, with some analysts calling it Veach's best work, citing the value of players like Royals, A+, and Williams, A. Social media sentiment on X reflects excitement about Royals and Smith as Dynasty League sleepers, with fans optimistic about their fit in Reid's system. Potential risks and challenges. While these players have high upside, risks remain. Norman Lott's inconsistent college production raises questions about his readiness, and Gallott's lack of length could limit his impact against elite tackles. Williams' speed concerns may expose him in off coverage, and Royals must refine his route running to earn targets in a crowded receiver room. Bass's transition to the NFL's physicality could be bumpy, and Smith's size may restrict him to a situational role. However, the Chiefs' coaching staff, Reid, Spagnuolo, and Tubb, has a track record of maximizing talent, mitigating these concerns. Conclusion: the Kansas City Chiefs 2025 NFL Draft Class is a masterclass in finding value, with sleeper picks and hidden gems like Omar Norman-Lott, Ashton Gillette, Noel Williams, Jalen Royals, Jeffrey Bassa, and Brashard Smith poised to make an impact. These players, selected in rounds 2 through 7, bring athleticism, production, and fit to a roster aiming to reclaim Super Bowl glory. If Veach's track record holds, several of these names could become household favorites in Chiefs Kingdom, proving once again that diamonds in the rough are the key to sustained success. Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl odds for 2025-26. Experts weigh in. The Kansas City Chiefs, fresh off a heartbreaking 40-22 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59, remain a focal point of NFL discussions as the 2025-26 season looms. With Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a retooled roster, the Chiefs are once again among the favorites to hoist the Lombardi Trophy at Super Bowl 60, scheduled for February 8, 2026, at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. But what do the odds say, and how do experts view Kansas City's chances of reclaiming glory? This article dives into the Chiefs' current Super Bowl odds, expert analyses, key roster changes, and the factors that could shape their path to Super Bowl 60. Current Super Bowl odds for the Chiefs. As of early May 2025, the Chiefs' odds to win Super Bowl 60 stand at plus 750, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, placing them fourth behind the Philadelphia Eagles, plus 600, Buffalo Bills, plus 650, and Baltimore Ravens, plus 700. These odds translate to an 11.8% implied probability of victory, a slight dip from their pre-Super Bowl X odds of minus 115, where they were favored to three-peat. Their odds to win the AFC Championship are plus 370, and they are heavy favorites to claim a 10th consecutive AFC West title at minus 125. The Chiefs also carry a 79.2% chance of making the playoffs, minus 380 odds, reflecting their consistent postseason presence under Reid and Mahomes. The odds reflect a market that respects Kansas City's pedigree but acknowledges the strengthened competition, particularly from Philadelphia, fresh off their dominant Super Bowl win, and AFC rivals like Buffalo and Baltimore. Posts on X echo this sentiment, with some users noting a potential Chiefs-Eagles rematch, while others highlight the crowded field of contenders, with 5 teams at 9-1 odds or shorter. Expert analysis. Why the Chiefs remain contenders. Strengths highlighted by analysts. Experts point to several factors that keep the Chiefs in the Super Bowl conversation. Patrick Mahomes' elite play. Mahomes, despite throwing 11 interceptions in 2024 against 26 touchdowns, remains the NFL's premier quarterback. His 3,928 passing yards, 307 rushing yards, and 28 total touchdowns in the regular season underscored his dual-threat ability. Analysts like Lindsey Theory of ESPN emphasize Mahomes' clutch performance, noting his 4-1 Super Bowl record and 3 MVP awards. Mahomes is inevitable, one NFL.com analyst wrote, citing his ability to lead game-winning drives, as seen in Super Bowl 57 against the Eagles. Andy Reid's coaching prowess. Reid, now tied with Don Shula for the second most Super Bowl appearances, 6, boasts a 4-1 against the spread (ATS) record in the big game. His playoff record as Chiefs head coach, 15-9-1 ATS, 18-7 straight up, and ability to scheme open receivers like Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy make Kansas City's offense formidable. Fox Sports betting trends highlight Reid's 73.7% win rate as a playoff favorite, reinforcing his strategic edge. Defensive continuity. Steve Spagnuolo's defense, ranked 4th in scoring defense, 19.2 points per game, in 2024, returns key pieces like Chris Jones, who experts like NFL.com's Mark Sessler see as a potential Super Bowl MVP if he disrupts opposing offensive lines. The addition of rookies like Omar Normanlott and Ashton Gillate in the 2025 draft bolsters the pass rush, addressing a weakness exposed in Super Bowl 59, where the Chiefs allowed 164 rushing yards per game over their final 4 contests. Roster upgrades. The Chiefs' 2025 draft, headlined by first-round offensive tackle Josh Simmons from Ohio State, aims to protect Mahomes after he was sacked 27 times in 2024. Free agency moves, including re-signing linebacker Nick Bolton to a 3-year, $45 million deal and adding defensive tackle Jerry Tillery, enhanced depth. Sports Illustrated's Chiefs coverage notes that these moves, combined with the return of Kareem Hunt, 728 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, position Kansas City to compete with the NFL's elite. Concerns raised by experts. Despite their strengths, experts identify challenges that could hinder the Chiefs' Super Bowl aspirations. Run defense vulnerability. The Athletic's Jeff Howe points out that Kansas City's rush defense struggled late in 2024, surrendering 164 yards per game over their final 4 contests, including the playoffs. Facing run-heavy teams like the Eagles, 179.3 rushing yards per game in 2024, or Baltimore, led by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, could exploit this weakness. Saquon Barkley's 2,447 rushing yards in 2024, second only to Terrell Davis, exposed Kansas City's front in Super Bowl 59. Offensive inconsistency. While Mahomes and Kelce, 97 catches, 823 yards, remain reliable, the Chiefs ranked 16th in total offense, 327.6 yards per game, in 2024. Xavier Worthy's 439 yards after catch led the team, but the receiving corps lacked a consistent second option beyond Kelce. ESPN's Seth Walder notes that the offense's reliance on Mahomes' improvisational brilliance sometimes masked play-calling predictability, a concern against top defenses like Philadelphia's, which led the NFL in yards allowed. AFC competition. The Ravens, plus 600, and Bills, plus 650, loom large. Baltimore's Week 7 rout of Tampa Bay in 2024 solidified their status as Kansas City's top AFC challenger, per The Athletic, while Buffalo's Josh Allen has narrowed the gap with Mahomes in clutch situations. The Bengals, plus 1,200, with a healthy Joe Burrow, are also a dark horse, having beaten the Chiefs in the 2022 AFC Championship. Super Bowl hangover risk. Fox Sports' Jeff Schwartz cautions that the Chiefs' grueling 5 Super Bowl appearances in 6 years could lead to fatigue or regression, especially after a 15-2 regular season that saw them go 11-0 in one-possession games. The Eagles, by contrast, have a younger core and fewer miles on key players like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. Betting trends and insights. Fox Sports and ESPN provide key betting trends that inform the Chiefs' Super Bowl outlook. Historical success. Teams that score first have won 37 of 58 Super Bowls, and the Chiefs were 8-0 in island games, standalone matchups, in 2024, suggesting they thrive in high-pressure settings. However, the team that won the time of possession battle is 41-17 straight up in Super Bowls, an area where the Eagles, 3rd in 2024, outranked the Chiefs, 6th. Underdog value. Since 2021, underdogs are 4-0 ATS and 3-1 outright in Super Bowls. With the Chiefs likely to be favorites in most playoff matchups, bettors may find value in their opponents, as seen in Super Bowl 59, where the Eagles, plus 100, upset Kansas City, minus 120. Mahomes MVP odds. Mahomes is the early favorite for Super Bowl 60 MVP at plus 105, per ESPN BET, reflecting his 55.2% selection rate among 67 experts polled for Super Bowl 59. However, a breakout performance from Worthy or Hunt could shift the narrative, as Barkley, plus 275, did in 2025. Over/under trends. The over hit in both of Kansas City's last 2 Super Bowl appearances, and with a projected total of 48.5 for potential 2026 matchups, Bettors are leaning toward high-scoring affairs, 76% of bets on the over in Super Bowl 59. This favors the Chiefs' explosive offense but raises concerns about their defense. Key matchups to watch in 2025-26. Experts highlight potential playoff matchups that could define the Chiefs' Super Bowl journey. Versus Philadelphia Eagles, plus 600. A third Super Bowl meeting in 4 years is possible, with the Eagles' top-ranked defense, second in points allowed, and Barkley's rushing prowess posing a challenge. The Chiefs' new offensive line, led by Simmons, will be critical in neutralizing Philadelphia's pass rush, which recorded 10 sacks in the 2025 playoffs. Versus Baltimore Ravens, plus 700. The Ravens' physicality and Lamar Jackson's dual-threat ability make them a nightmare for Kansas City's run defense. An AFC Championship rematch could hinge on Chris Jones' ability to pressure Jackson, as he did with 10 postseason sacks in 2024. Versus Buffalo Bills, plus 650. Mahomes owns a 4-0 playoff record against Josh Allen, but Buffalo's 8-2 comeback win over Indianapolis in 2024 showed resilience. The Athletic's Vic Tafur notes that Buffalo's improving defense could test Kansas City's offense in a high-stakes road game. Fan and analyst sentiment. Posts on X reflect a mix of optimism and skepticism about the Chiefs' chances. At KC Chiefs on SI cites an analyst calling Kansas City still the team to beat, pointing to their draft and free agency moves. Conversely, at DD Sports AZ highlights the betting market's preference for Philadelphia, with 5 teams, including the Chiefs, in a tight odds race. At Starcade Media KC's December 2024 post, when the Chiefs were plus 210 favorites after a 14-1 start, underscores how quickly perceptions shift post-Super Bowl loss. NFL.com's panel of analysts, in a February 2025 poll, favored the Chiefs 61.2% to win Super Bowl 59, with common score predictions like 27-24 and 31-28, reflecting expectations of another close game. However, the Eagles' 55-point NFC Championship outburst swayed some, like the Athletic's Brandon Funston, to back Philadelphia's ground game and defense. This split underscores the Chiefs' respected but not invincible status. Mahomes' turnovers. Mahomes' 11 interceptions, including 2 in the Super Bowl, were his highest since 2022. Fox Sports' Jeff Schwartz warns that his aggressive style, while electrifying, can lead to costly mistakes against ball-hawking defenses like Philadelphia's, 19 interceptions in 2024. Expert opinions and betting insights. Analysts are cautiously optimistic about the Chiefs' offense. NFL.com's February 2025 Super Bowl 60 preview gave Kansas City a 61.2% chance to reach the game, with score predictions like 28-24 over the Eagles, citing Mahomes' clutch factor. However, the Athletic's Brandon Funston leans toward Philadelphia's ground game, predicting a Chiefs wildcard exit if their run defense, 164 yards allowed per game late in 2024, doesn't improve. Betting trends from DraftKings and FanDuel offer context. Super Bowl odds. The Chiefs are plus 750 to win Super Bowl 60, fourth behind the Eagles, plus 600, Bills, plus 650, and Ravens, plus 700. Their 11.8% implied probability reflects confidence but acknowledges competition. Over/under projections. Kansas City's win total is set at 11.5, minus 110, with 68% of bettors taking the over, per ESPN BET. Their offensive output is projected at 28.2 points per game, second to Philadelphia's 29.1. Mahomes props. Mahomes is plus 105 to win Super Bowl MVP, with 55.2% of experts picking him in a 2025 poll. His over/under for passing yards is 4,100.5, with 62% betting the over based on his 2024 rebound. X sentiment is mixed. At KC Chiefs on SI cites an analyst calling the Chiefs' offense still elite, praising Simmons and Royals. Conversely, at DD Sports AZ notes betting market skepticism, with Philadelphia favored due to their defensive edge. At Starcade Media KC's April 2025 post hyped Royals as a steal, but fans remain wary of Kelsey's workload. Key players to watch. Josh Simmons. His ability to anchor the left side will dictate Mahomes' pocket comfort. A strong debut could elevate the offense to top 10 status. Jalen Royals. If he cracks the rotation and delivers 500 to 600 yards, he could ease pressure on Kelsey and Worthy. Brashard Smith. His third down role could add 200 to 300 receiving yards, providing a Kamara-like spark. Rashee Rice. A full season without suspension could see him hit 800 yards, addressing the WR2 gap. Can they repeat? Repeating 2024 success, 15 wins, a fourth straight AFC title, and a Super Bowl berth, is a tall order. The Chiefs' offense has the tools: Mahomes' brilliance, Reid's ingenuity, a solid run game, and upgraded protection. However, drops, line cohesion, and stiffer defensive competition pose real threats. If Simmons stabilizes the tackle spot, Royals emerges, and Mahomes cuts down on turnovers, Kansas City could climb to a top-8 offense, 350-plus yards per game, and contend for Super Bowl 60 on February 8, 2026, at Levi's Stadium. The Chiefs' path hinges on execution and health. As Reid told reporters post-draft, "We've got the pieces, now we put it together." For deeper analysis, check Chiefs.com, ESPN, or Sports Illustrated. Fans in Missouri can track odds via DraftKings or FanDuel, with sports betting launching by December 2025. Whether the Chiefs repeat depends on Mahomes' magic and Reid's ability to evolve, an equation Kansas City has solved before. The Kansas City Chiefs' future: dynasty or rebuilding phase. The Kansas City Chiefs have been the NFL's gold standard over the past 6 years, reaching 5 Super Bowls, winning 3, and securing 9 straight AFC West titles under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Their 15-2 regular season in 2024 and fourth consecutive Super Bowl appearance cemented their status as a modern dynasty, even after a 40-22 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59. Yet, as the 2025-26 season looms, questions arise. Can the Chiefs sustain their dominance, or are they on the cusp of a rebuilding phase? This article explores Kansas City's roster, coaching, draft strategy, financial outlook, and competitive landscape to assess whether their dynasty will endure or give way to a reset. Defining a dynasty versus a rebuilding phase. A dynasty in the NFL is characterized by sustained excellence, multiple championships, consistent playoff appearances, and a core of elite players and coaches. The Chiefs, with 3 Super Bowl titles since 2019 and a 78-19 regular season record, .804, from 2019 to 2024, fit this mold, rivaling the Patriots' 2001-2019 run, 4 titles, 9 Super Bowl appearances. A rebuilding phase, conversely, involves significant roster turnover, coaching changes, or a dip in performance, often triggered by salary cap constraints, aging stars, or quarterback transitions. With Mahomes at 30 and Reid at 67, the Chiefs face pivotal decisions that will shape their trajectory. The case for a continued dynasty. Several factors suggest the Chiefs can extend their dynasty into the late 2020s. Patrick Mahomes' prime. Mahomes, a 3-time Super Bowl MVP and 2-time NFL MVP, is the NFL's best quarterback at 30. His 2024 stats: 3,928 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 307 rushing yards, and 4-1 Super Bowl record underscore his ability to elevate the team. ESPN's Lindsey Thiry calls him the ultimate cheat code, noting his 11-0 record in one-possession games in 2024. With a 10-year, $450 million contract through 2031, Mahomes ensures stability at the game's most critical position. Andy Reid's coaching excellence. Reid, tied with Don Shula for the second-most Super Bowl appearances, 6, boasts a 15-9-1 playoff ATS record with Kansas City. His 73.7% win rate as a playoff favorite, Fox Sports, and ability to scheme for diverse talents like Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy keep the offense dynamic. At 67, Reid shows no signs of retiring, telling reporters in March 2025, "I'm still having fun." His staff, including Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Tubb, provides continuity. Young talent pipeline. The Chiefs' 2025 draft class, led by first-round offensive tackle Josh Simmons, Ohio State, and fourth-round wide receiver Jalen Royals, Utah State, addresses key needs. Simmons, with a 91.2 PFF pass-blocking grade, bolsters Mahomes' protection, while Royals' 820 yards and 10 touchdowns in 2024 add YAC ability. Day 2 picks like defensive lineman Omar Normanlott and edge rusher Ashton Gill-Latte enhance the pass rush. General Manager Brett Veach's track record, unearthing Isaiah Pacheco, round 7, 2022, and Trey Smith, round 6, 2021, ensures a steady influx of contributors. Sports Illustrated gave the draft an A-, praising its balance. Defensive foundation. Spagnuolo's defense ranked 4th in points allowed, 19.2 per game, in 2024, anchored by Chris Jones, 10 sacks, re-signed to a 3-year, $85 million deal, and Trent McDuffie, All-Pro cornerback, 74 tackles, 8 pass breakups. Emerging stars like George Karlaftis, 8 sacks, and rookie corner Noel Williams, 7 interceptions in college, provide depth. The Athletic's Jeff Howe notes that Jones' presence makes everyone better, allowing Spagnuolo to deploy aggressive schemes. Financial flexibility. Despite Mahomes' massive contract, the Chiefs project $28.6 million in cap space for 2026, per over the cap, thanks to restructures and backloaded deals. Key players like Kelce, $14.8 million cap hit, Pacheco, under contract through 2026, and Creed Humphrey, 5-year, $72 million extension, are locked in, minimizing immediate cap casualties. Veach's ability to find cost-effective talent like Kareem Hunt, 2-year, $12 million deal, preserves flexibility. Historical precedent. Dynasties often sustain success with a generational quarterback and stable leadership. The Patriots thrived for 2 decades with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, adapting through roster turnover. The Chiefs, with Mahomes' prime years ahead and Reid's play-calling genius, mirror this model. NFL.com's Mark Sessler argues that Kansas City's 79.2% playoff probability, minus 380 odds, DraftKings, and plus 750 Super Bowl odds, 4th best, reflect a market belief in their staying power. Posts from @KC Chiefs on SI echo this, with one analyst calling the Chiefs the NFL's next 20-year dynasty due to Mahomes' longevity. The case for a rebuilding phase. Potential weaknesses. Despite their strengths, warning signs suggest the Chiefs could face a rebuilding phase. Aging core. Kelce, 36 in October 2025, showed slight regression in 2024, 823 yards, 4 touchdowns, down from 984 yards in 2023. His $14.8 million cap hit in 2026 could force a tough decision if production dips further. Jones, 31, remains elite but faces wear-and-tear risks after 10 NFL seasons. Reid's age, 67, raises questions about his long-term tenure, and Spagnuolo, 65, could be a head coaching candidate elsewhere, per ESPN's Seth Walder. Run defense woes. The Chiefs' rush defense faltered late in 2024, allowing 164 yards per game over their final 4 contests, including 179.3 to Philadelphia in Super Bowl 59. Saquon Barkley's 2,447 rushing yards exposed this weakness, and AFC foes like Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Buffalo, Josh Allen, could exploit it. The Athletic's Vic Tafur warns that Norman Lott and Gil Latte must develop quickly to plug gaps. Receiver inconsistency. Beyond Kelce and Worthy, 676 yards, 6 touchdowns, the Chiefs lacked a reliable WR2 in 2024. Rashee Rice, 455 yards, suspension limited, and Hollywood Brown, 389 yards, injury-plagued, underperformed, and the team's 34 drops tied for 5th most. Royals is a promising addition, but Fox Sports' Jeff Schwartz questions whether he can become a 1,000-yard threat to diversify the offense. Competitive landscape. The AFC is stacked, with the Ravens, plus 700, Bills, plus 650, and Bengals, plus 1,200, posing threats. Baltimore's 2024 Week 7 rout of Tampa Bay solidified their physical edge, while Buffalo's 8-2 comeback win over Indianapolis showed resilience. The Eagles, plus 600, with a younger core and top-ranked defense, loom as a potential dynasty killer. Posts from @DD Sports AZ note the betting market skepticism, with 5 teams at 9-1 Super Bowl odds or better. Super Bowl hangover risk. The Chiefs' 5 Super Bowl trips in 6 years have taken a toll, with Mahomes absorbing 27 sacks in 2024 and Pacheco missing games due to injury. Fox Sports cites a 4-0 ATS trend for Super Bowl underdogs since 2021, suggesting Kansas City's favorite status could be tested. A regression to 10-11 wins, as predicted by some ESPN analysts, could signal a step back. Salary cap pressures. While the Chiefs have $28.6 million in 2026 cap space, looming extensions for players like McDuffie and Karlaftis could strain resources. Kelce's potential retirement or release would save $14.8 million but create a void at tight end. Jones' $28.3 million cap hit in 2026 is manageable but limits splashy free agent signings. Over the Cap projects a tighter $12.4 million cap space in 2027, potentially forcing cuts to veterans like Joe Thuney, $15.5 million hit. Expert opinions and betting insights. Analysts are split on the Chiefs' future. NFL.com's February 2025 Super Bowl 60 preview gave Kansas City a 61.2% chance to return, with score predictions like 27-24 over the Eagles, citing Mahomes' clutch factor. The Athletic's Brandon Funston, however, predicts a wild card exit if the run defense doesn't improve, favoring Philadelphia's ground game. ESPN's 67 expert poll for Super Bowl 59 picked Mahomes as MVP 55.2%, but 38% now back the Eagles or Ravens for 2026. Betting trends provide context. Super Bowl odds: the Chiefs plus 750 odds, 11.8% implied probability, trail the Eagles, plus 600, Bills, plus 650, and Ravens, plus 700. Their plus 370 AFC Championship odds reflect confidence but acknowledge competition. Win total: DraftKings sets Kansas City's 2025-26 win total at 11.5, minus 110, with 68% of bets on the over, per ESPN BET. A 12-win season would signal dynasty continuity. 10 or fewer could hint at rebuilding. Playoff probability: the Chiefs minus 380 odds to make the playoffs, 79.2% chance, are the NFL's second best, behind Philadelphia, minus 450, per FanDuel. X sentiment is polarized. At Starcade Media, KC's April 2025 post hailed the Chiefs draft as dynasty fuel, hyping Simmons and Royals. Conversely, at Chiefs Focus cautions that Kelce's age and defensive holes could force a mini-rebuild by 2027. Fans remain optimistic about Mahomes but wary of the AFC's depth. Key factors to watch: Kelce's production. If Kelce maintains 800 to 900 yards, the offense stays elite. A drop to 500 to 600 yards could push the Chiefs to seek a new tight end, like Brock Bowers in 2026. Draft development: Simmons must solidify left tackle, and Royals needs 500-plus yards to ease Kelce's burden. Norman Lott and Gil Latte combining for 8 to 10 sacks would shore up the defense. Reid's tenure: Reid coaching through 2027, age 69, is critical. A succession plan, potentially Matt Nagy or Spagnuolo, must be in place. AFC playoff gauntlet: beating two of Baltimore, Buffalo, or Cincinnati in the playoffs will test Kansas City's depth. Mahomes' 4-0 playoff record versus Josh Allen is encouraging, but Lamar Jackson's mobility remains a challenge. Dynasty or rebuilding? The verdict: the Chiefs are poised to extend their dynasty through at least 2026-27, driven by Mahomes' prime, Reid's brilliance, and a reloaded roster. Their plus 750 Super Bowl odds, young talent like Worthy and Simmons, and $28.6 million in cap space signal sustained contention. Historical dynasties, like the Patriots and 1980s 49ers, thrived with elite quarterbacks and adaptable coaches, and Kansas City checks both boxes. A 12-5 or 13-4 season in 2025-26, with a deep playoff run, is within reach. However, cracks exist. Kelce's age, run defense vulnerabilities, and a loaded AFC could precipitate a mini-rebuild by 2027-28 if key pieces falter. Losing Reid or Spagnuolo, or failing to replace Kelce and Jones, would accelerate this shift. For now, the Chiefs are a dynasty, but the margin for error is thinning. Mahomes' magic must counter a rising tide of challengers. For more insights, visit Chiefs.com, NFL.com, or The Athletic. Missouri fans can track odds on DraftKings or FanDuel with sports betting launching by December 2025. As Mahomes said post-Super Bowl X, "We'll be back." The question is how long they'll stay on top.